The restaurant was a controlled experiment. 2 people, known variables, a predictable social architecture. You had the terrain. This is different. When she brings you to meet her friends, you are walking into her home ecosystem. Her emotional architecture is embedded in those people, her history, her reputation, her self-image. All of it pre-exists you in that room. And every person in that room is already running a program on you before you walk through the door. Welcome to the most evaluative social environment you will ever enter without a job interview attached to it. I'm Daniel. This is Silent Genius. Chapter 2, The Situational Read. Episode 2, The Friend Introduction, when she brings you around her circle. Before you arrive, she has already been talking about you. How long, how much, and in what frame, that is intelligence you need to gather, and you can if you're paying attention. The pre-introduction briefing is the story she tells her friends before you walk into the room. It is the framework through which every person in that room will initially filter you. And the nature of that briefing tells you a very specific thing: where she currently places you in her mental architecture of significant people. The minimal briefing. You arrive and notice that her friends seem to have almost no information about you. They ask your name with genuine uncertainty. They ask what you do as an opener, not as a follow-up. There's a pause after you say something about yourself, where her friends glance at her briefly, recalibrating. She has told them very little. I'm bringing a guy, rather than I'm bringing someone I really like. She has protected herself against the vulnerability of narrative investment. If you don't work out, she hasn't publicly committed to anything. If you do work out, she can build the story from here. The minimal briefing is emotional hedging. It is also sometimes a sign of early-stage, genuine interest. She hasn't told them because she is still in the private phase of processing how she feels, and she isn't ready to socialize it. The tell is in her energy when she introduces you. If she's warm and shows visible pleasure in the introduction, despite the minimal briefing context, she's privately invested. If the introduction is equally minimal, perfunctory, low energy, the hedging runs deeper. The curated briefing. Her friends know what you do. They know 1 or 2 specific things about you. The interesting trip you mentioned, the job title, the unusual fact she found memorable enough to pass on. The questions feel informed without being intrusive. They are asking about things she has already pre-filtered as safe and interesting. She has been thinking about you outside of your presence. She has been talking about you. She has curated a version of you to her closest people. That curation is a form of investment. The version she curated is also information. What did she lead with? The professional achievement? The personality trait? The story about your childhood she found touching? The first thing her friends know about you is the thing she considers your most presentable feature. That is how she sees you. The full disclosure briefing. Her friends know everything: your dating history, your communication style, the argument you had last week, the thing you said that bothered her, the thing you said that she keeps thinking about. They greet you with the barely contained energy of people who have been briefed like a crisis communications team. She has made you a project. You exist in extensive detail in her inner circle's consciousness. This is either because she is deeply interested in you and cannot contain it, which is wonderful, or because she processes all significant emotional events through her friends, which means her friends will have access to every version of your relationship, including the ones you'd prefer stayed private. Establish early what level of information she considers shareable. You will not be able to stop the sharing, but you can know its dimensions.
You walk in.
In the first 5 seconds after she sees you in the room, she will make one of 3 physical moves. Pay very close attention to which one it is. The possessive touch. She comes to you. She reaches you before you've navigated the space fully, and when she does, she makes physical contact. A hand on your arm, a brief kiss, a hand at the small of your back as she guides you toward the table. The function of this touch is territorial. It is not for you, it is for the room. She is communicating your status to her friends before a word is spoken. You are hers, or at least in this room, in this moment, she is presenting you as hers. This is a powerful signal of relational investment. She is willing to publicly claim you. In a social environment where her reputation is at stake, she has attached herself to you visibly. The distance hold. She waves from where she's standing. She smiles. She lets you navigate to her rather than coming to you. She introduces you with a gesture toward the table rather than a guided physical approach. This is not coldness. It is independence of presentation. She is not performing possession. She is also not performing detachment. The question is whether the distance is consistent throughout the evening, or whether it erodes as the night progresses and the performance pressure decreases. If she becomes physically warmer as the evening relaxes, the initial distance was social caution. If the distance holds all night, it is her authentic calibration of where she has you. The check-in touch. She greets you normally, makes the introduction, and then, at some point in the first 15 minutes, makes brief, seemingly incidental physical contact. A touch on your hand to make a point in conversation. Her arm brushing yours as she reaches for her drink. A brief, light hand on your knee under the table. These touches are not incidental, they are check-ins. She is maintaining a physical thread between you in a room where she cannot give you her full attention. She is making sure you are still oriented to her. This is, of all 3 variants, the one I find most genuinely indicative of warm interest. It requires more social subtlety than the possessive gesture and more emotional intentionality than the distance hold. She is managing the room and managing you simultaneously, and she has decided you're worth the management. You are at the table. Her friends are looking at you. Not overtly, they are social animals, and they have been trained out of overt scrutiny. But they are evaluating you in precise, methodical waves. And the sequence of that evaluation is consistent enough that I can walk you through it. First pass. Presentation. They have assessed your clothes, your grooming, your physical proportionality before you've said a word. This is pattern recognition. They are looking for alignment between the version of you she described and the version of you that just walked through the door. Second pass. Social ease. Can you hold a table? Do you introduce yourself with confidence, or do you defer to her for social scaffolding? Can you make eye contact with strangers? Do you occupy your physical space comfortably, or do you compress? Smaller gestures, tighter posture, the physical vocabulary of a person under scrutiny. Third pass. How you treat her. Are you attentive but not clingy? Engaged but not performing? Do you listen when she speaks? Do you defer to her on group decisions? And if so, how? Confidently or anxiously? Her friends are not evaluating you for themselves. They are evaluating you against a specific internal benchmark. Is this person good enough for her? And good enough, in this context, is defined by each friend's model of what she deserves, which is shaped by years of watching her in relationships. The friend who seems the warmest toward you on first meeting is the one who most wants her to be happy and has decided provisionally that you might contribute to that. The friend who is the most reserved is the one running the longest evaluation. She has seen her hurt before, possibly multiple times, and she is not giving you provisional approval. That reserved friend matters the most. Come back to her. At some point in the evening, usually within the first hour, she will excuse herself to use the bathroom. She will not be alone. Within 30 to 90 seconds of her departure, one of her friends will follow. This is not coincidence. This is protocol. The bathroom debrief is a specific and nearly universal female social ritual, and what happens during it shapes the rest of the evening and potentially the rest of the relationship. What are they doing? They are sharing first impressions, real ones, uncensored by your presence. The friend who seemed warmest to you may, in that bathroom, be expressing reservations she didn't voice at the table. The friend who seemed most reserved may be saying something surprisingly positive. Read the energy when she returns. If she comes back and moves physically closer to you, she received something positive. The friends like you, or at least haven't raised a flag. If there's a brief, subtle recalibration, she's slightly less warm, slightly more measured, she received a concern. She is processing it. If she comes back visibly more engaged and laughing more, a specific friend has said something that energized her investment in you. What should you do while she's gone? Continue the conversation at the table. Do not perform. The friends who remain with you are gathering data, and the data they gather while she is absent is qualitatively different. It's the version of you that doesn't have her as a social anchor. Be curious about them. Ask something genuine, not interview questions, real curiosity. People remember how you made them feel. Her circle has a private language. Years of shared history have produced references, nicknames, recurring jokes, abbreviated communication codes that are illegible to outsiders. At some point this evening, one of these will surface in conversation. How she handles this moment is a specific and precise test. She translates. The inside reference surfaces. She notices your confusion and briefly bridges the gap. She makes the effort to include you. This woman considers your inclusion in the group a priority. She treats your outsider status as a temporary condition rather than a fixed one. In the long run, this is how a person who is genuinely interested in building something with you behaves. She makes space. She lets you drown. The inside reference surfaces, and she lets it land. The friends share the laugh, the moment, the energy, and you exist in the gap of it, smiling politely at something you cannot access. There are two readings. 1. She is so immersed in the group dynamic that she simply didn't notice your exclusion. 2. She is comfortable enough with you to let you experience her authentic self in this context. Test it by asking about the reference with genuine curiosity. Her response will tell you which reading is accurate. She uses the reference as a bridge. She brings up the inside joke specifically to include you. Tell him about Barcelona. She is using her group's history as a gift to give you. This is advanced social engineering in the best possible sense. She is actively expanding your access to her world. If this is resonating, and I think it is, do me a favor. Like this video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. We go deeper than anyone else on this platform. And what's coming next in this chapter? You don't want to miss it.